I'm going to, hi.
Hi.
Right. As I'm like, right, someone's right about to open my door. I'm like, really? The one, you guys have someone who's paying attention to you. You're good. Okay, welcome to our Coach Sneak Peek. We are so excited you are here. If you're catching this live, hello. And if you are catching this as a recording, then we are glad that you're taking the time to just listen to our stories and kind of break down some of the myths that maybe being a health influencer is or isn't. I think that sometimes it looks so nostalgic or looks like somebody has to be a certain kind of person to do this, but the reality is there are 500,000 Beachbody coaches in the world, and they come in all shapes and sizes, and we come from all different backgrounds, and we come from being, right out of high school all the way to signing up when you're 65. Like it really doesn't matter who, what, where, when who you are. All it matters is that you're taking on the adventure of taking care of yourself, and you want to share that journey with the world. I would say that pretty much wraps up what it is that we do. But we want to kind of just share our stories, how we got started, and then just a couple of different things that usually come up with the concern of becoming a coach. So I have been a coach. It'll be 5 years on May 23rd, which is crazy. We're rounding in that real fast. I started because I've always done Beachbody programs. I think I've done them since over like 10 years now. I never did them to the actual degree to which they should have been done, which is why I never got results. I remember doing like one insanity video and one P90X, and then eating like sunflower seeds and trying to get in shape for my wedding, and literally basically disintegrating as a human being because I wasn't eating and I was doing hours of workouts and thinking. And I remember this girl, because I had a coach, but I ignored her. I'm like, this person is so annoying. Like, who are they? Why are they messaging me? And I bought it off an infomercial, or I used a burned copy, one of the two. And anyway, she would message me all about Shakeology, and it would always be this video of her like mixing up a shake, and I'd be like, I don't even have your shakes. Like, delete, delete, delete. Anyway, long story short, I had babies really close together, and I've always been a worker outer. I'm pretty sure it's in my blood. My mother is still works out to this day and still teaches classes at almost 70 years old. And so it was after my second son, I had about 50 plus pounds to lose. I used every excuse in the books with him as to why I didn't have to work out while I was pregnant, and gained it all. And not like a healthy gain, but like a really unhealthy gain. And I had two babies. He was 7 months old and Avery was like 18 months old. And I was so tired, and I had like, not that I didn't really know it at the time, but definitely some baby blues. And I just kind of thought the weight should just fall off, and it wasn't. And so I was spending hours at the gym. I was keeping my kids in daycare as long as I could humanly possible, while kind of skipping my job just to get to the gym. And I would work out for hours and nothing would happen. I would get on that scale and it would be like point 0.1, point 0.2, point 0.9. Oh, gained point 0.7. And I just lived in this like land of frustration. And my coach, I had watched her for like maybe a year prior. She's my husband's best friend's wife. And she was always this person who hid behind the camera. She was heavy her whole life. And all of a sudden I started like seeing her online and, in sports bras. And I'd be like, wait a minute, who's this girl? And so she got me kind of intrigued into looking into it. And one day I called her and first I asked my husband, I said, look, I think I need to do this whole Beachbody thing, but I want to do it outright. I want to do the Shakeology. I want to do what I'm supposed to do. So I think I need to sign up as like a coach or something so I can get a discount, because he's into the discounts. And I said, because I want to commit for 6 months. I don't want to just kind of sort of do it. I want to go all in for 6 months. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I called her and I said, hey, I'm ready to sign up. I want to sign up as a disc. I researched the heck out of it, by the way, like because for me, an MLM was like, is this a pyramid? Like, what is it? And even though I wasn't even going to work the business, I still wanted to know all the details, right? Like, you still want to know. And I came across the funniest, all these like rad videos that basically pointed to the fact that I wasn't joining some sort of pyramid, and which by the way is illegal, and they don't actually, they, you can't be in them. A pyramid technically means that I could never surpass my coach. Like I couldn't become, she would get more money than I ever could, and nobody could really become to the top. And that's not how it works at all. You put in what you get in, and you just help people. And yes, are we shaped like a pyramid is in the grand scheme of things, but that's just how you build your team. Anyway, so I signed up, and I remember being like, I was currently working out with a lot of the girls from my work. And I said, hey, I'm going to do this thing. It's called 21 Day Fix. You know, maybe you want to do it with me. And for some odd reason, a whole bunch of women joined me. And I was like, whoa, what are we doing? Are we like gonna, I was like, James, I like made back what I spent $140 and I made like $200. And I'm like, I think I'm going to do this coach thing. And literally it was like a week, like one, I don't even know if it was a week. It might've been 3 days. And I remember calling Annie and being like, okay, so what do I have to do? What do I have to do? And she's like, well, just share about it online and like, you know, tell people to do it with you. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. So I like started an Instagram. I had 0 followers. I started a Facebook business page, had 0 followers. And I was like, oh, well, hey guys, I sent out an email to all my friends and family and was like, hey, I'm going to do this thing. It's not a pyramid, but hey, if you need some Shakeology, like I could be your girl. You don't have to. I just want you to know like what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And lo and behold, I had one of the best months I've ever had. Seriously, in this all of 5 years, my entire business was one of the best. Now that doesn't always happen. I won't like, that's not like a norm, because I just had someone who like didn't go as well for her. But I think because I was always kind of the workout girl, right? Like people, even though it wasn't, I clearly had lots of weight to lose. I was kind of that girl for a lot of people. So I jumped in. I lost 16 pounds in like 14 inches in 21 days, and Shakeology drastically changed my gut. I went from being, I'm like an IBS girl for like a decade. I don't want to say addicted to poop tea, which I'm sorry if this is TMI, but this is like the real deal. I had to take like a laxative tea for 10 years. 10 years, I drank 2 cups of this tea a day. It was the only thing that helped me. And I had been through everything. I've had more colonoscopies than most 7-year-old men. And this was like the only thing that was working. And so my gut started to change. And all of a sudden I was thriving, and I was like, wow, James, I'm gonna have to drink Shakeology for life. Like this is it. I'm in for life, because it just gave me that nutrition that I clearly was missing. And away we went. And so you know, that was sort of the beginning, and really the rest is history. I think, you know, this business has given me so much more than my health back, but it also gave me a life that I didn't even know I needed. And I think that pretty much sums it up. I was sort of floating in this land of, do I want to be, you know, I live in Southern California. I have to bring in an income. At the time I had 2 kids, but I knew that we wanted to have more. But it was kind of like, well, at this point, if we had to put all 3 kids into daycare, we're looking at basically a mortgage payment. And that doesn't make sense. You know, it's like work or take care of all your kids. And so, but I'm a worker. I like to feel like I'm helping our family. I like to feel like I have a purpose outside of just being a mom. And I don't mean that just being a mom, but I really find a lot of life giving into other people, pouring into other people. And so this really like brought it all together for me in a full circle. And then it met us in this weird land that we never even knew we would be in. My husband ended up getting a crazy job offer in LA. We packed up and moved. I quit working in a job that I had been at for 6 years, about 9 months after I started coaching. And I have never looked back. I definitely have been, you know, I think it just kind of showed me what was possible, and I found myself dreaming again. And I think that that's where a lot of women end up. That's, you know, what ends up happening is that we think you know, we begin to become moms, and we begin to come, you know, do this, and then we find that something is missing. And so we find this little piece of um piece of the puzzle that just kind of brings this in to what, a bigger picture. And all of a sudden we have bigger dreams. And, I've been able to see the world, and I would have never seen the world with 4 young children. That would have just never happened. And so I think, I look at like the women I'm doing this with today, and I met Cassie in LA, which I never would have gone if we didn't have, Beachbody. This sounds so weird to say, but I probably wouldn't even have Brooks, like my 4th son. He probably wouldn't be in the equation if we didn't have the flexibility that we have now, as me being a coach and James pursuing his career. I think that, that's probably the biggest part of it. And I think, one of the biggest questions people ask is, does it take a lot of time? And I think that's a hard question to ask, because really it takes as much time as you want it to, right? It meets you where you're at. So you want this to be like your full-time income, then you're going to treat it like a full-time job. Or I wouldn't even say that, because I treat it like a full-time job, and I probably spend 3 to 4 hours a day max. But if you want it like a hobby thing, an hour a day is more than enough. And so I think that's the cool part, is that it takes the time that you want to put in. It's going to meet you where you meet it. And so that's kind of my story. I mean, I wish it was more, as exciting as it is, but that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Good story.
Good, good story.
Very inspiring.
I mean, it clearly inspired you to join me. So
Clearly.
Not right away though.
No, I fought it for sure.
Well, I'll jump in because I did start right away.
You did.
Which is funny, because hearing your side of that story, you're like, that month I was like, all of a sudden everyone's joining, and Kim and I were in a small group together with Andrea as well, and I was like, already kind of went to the gym. I did yoga in a gym at least once a week, sometimes twice, and I would run with my daughter in a stroller. I was like a trail runner. I was like, heck no, I'm not working out at home. And then like everyone was like losing weight and feeling great. And you guys all had all this energy, and all of our snacks at small group turned into like healthy container ones, and all the carrots and hummus. And I was like, I didn't really have that much weight to lose, to be honest. I did not know that I could have possibly lost 10 to 15 more pounds at that point in my life. I would say I was in shape, but I was definitely like caffeinated times 20 more than I needed to be, and always tired. And I only had 1 kid, and I was like, how could I possibly add more? And I was a stay-at-home mom, so it was like, why was I so sleepy all the time? Anyways, I think I was round 2 for you guys. You guys all started, and I was like, I'll wait and see what happens with all of this. And then I joined, did Shakeology for a month, and same, totally had IBS as a child, where the doctor was like, drink Metamucil powder. And I like always had bowel problems and just a lot of IBS issues. And so for me, that first month, I was like, the fog had lifted. I wasn't bloated. I didn't have the tummy aches. I was waking up feeling good internally. And then I was like, well, I can't afford that again. So that was a nice month that I lived on Shakeology, and I loved it. And then I told my husband, I was like, no, I have to have that again. It felt too good. I was like, I'm finally healthy. And I felt the difference for the first time. And so then Kim was like, well, you could sign up to be a discount coach and like get the discount. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll talk to my husband and just kind of see. And then like right out the gate, I had like, my mom was like, well, I want to order and I want to do it. And Kim's like, just sign up so that you can get paid. I was like, sounds good to me, might as well. And so did not post anything to social media for like the first 6 months. Like it was just me and my mom. And I think maybe I sold like to one other person, just because I just was loving it for myself. And then I moved away to Texas, and it was sort of like I lost a lot of what I was doing, a ton of busyness. And so then I was like, well, maybe I'll pursue this, and maybe I'll start posting to social media. And that kind of all happened. And it's been a interesting 4 years for me. Lots of babies and lots of traveling and life, but it's something I would never go back on. I would never turn back time and be like, I wish I wouldn't have done that, because I had no idea that I could learn so much about how to take care of my body, how to feed my family, which like I said, now I have 3 kids, and the youngest is 1.5. And I'm like, wow, he eats so much. And I'm so glad that I know how to like fuel our family, like healthy foods. today I gave my kids a snack and it was hummus and carrots. And my daughter goes, should we get rid of the TV too? So we're really healthy. Like, I love this mentality we're building of like what health looks like. We're not, because we're still in quarantine. So that TV will be staying. But I have just this eye-opening thing of like, wow, I don't have to make it to the gym. I don't have to have a trainer. I don't have to have like meet these scheduled classes where is what it was before. The reason I only made the 2 classes with gym was because life would happen. I'd be like, oh, well, I'm late. I missed it. There went that class. And that was when Autumn, because that was who my first trainer was with Beachbody, came into my life, I was like, this is amazing. And I could find what the window was that worked out for me to push play on. Or even, again, my mom had started with me early on. And so I was like, Mom, come work out. And it was just this awesome thing where we were both feeling that result, not just seeing it, but like the feeling of, wow, I actually have sustainable energy. And this was even before we added this into our life. Like, I don't even know when Kim started drinking Energize, but we didn't add this into our repertoire for a while. And so then, anyways, it's just been this wonderful season of continued growth and never quitting. And I think that that's what so many of us will say over and over again. Like, it's not easy to quit once you've figured out how to make this just a habit in your life that is easy to sustain and easy to find a new program, easy to work into your day and your season when it changes. I've had 2 boys, Beachbody pregnancies, and they've been amazing. They were way healthier than my daughter's pregnancy, like exponentially easier and better. Maybe girls are harder in pregnancies than boys. I don't know. They say they take the pretty out of you, right?
The boys.
Yeah. But am I talking right now about, you did time already?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I know Kim said 3 to 4 hours. So I'll just like piggyback on that a tiny bit, saying like, I don't do the 3 to 4 hours, but I don't do this as a full-time job, but I always get paid. And I can say that Beachbody does not disclaim whatever we have at the bottom there to disclaim. I get paid every Thursday, and I have for a very long time. And some of my paychecks are big and some of them are small, but like, it's kind of crazy that I'm always just like, there came Thursday's paycheck. And it's just been this really nice thing. I'm a full-time homeschooling mom, full-time stay-at-home mom. And I always have been, and I probably always will be. And so despite 2020, I say that because for me, it has really worked into our schedule for me to be able to put it on, grab things and explain to my kids when I am working and when they are getting that out time outdoor snack and I'm going to be on my phone, or if I am going to record a call or do whatever. And, that's a perk. And that's an understanding in our family, because I am not the mom that leaves them. I'm not the mom that drops them off. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I do have to explain to my kids sometimes when I'm on my phone or I'm on my computer, and that's okay. I also lead worship at my church, and I'm part of a ministry that helps women with infertility. And so they know that mom does stuff. So it's okay that I have a job where I'm on my phone or I'm posting to social media or I'm taking silly selfies or whatever. But my time is a lot less than Kim. So I just wanted to share that with some of you, because when you're starting, or if you are more part-time, that's all right. It's not always going to be the longer day. And you can still find success like I have, and still being able to bring in a residual income a lot of times for me, as well as just like bonus money, fun money, paying for my Shakeology, paying for my programs and all of that. And then I just wanted to talk a little bit about the niceness, the ease. I actually just signed up a coach, and she used to do a different MLM that required you to have a lot on hand inventory. And that is something that's so nice. Not that I don't believe in other products that these women sell, because I do. I think there's a lot of great products that MLMs offer us, but not having to have a special room for all of my racks of things or all of my shelves of these products is so nice. So this coach that just signed, she was like, I'm giving away products right now. Like, I'm literally sick of having them in my house. I'm giving them away. And you know what? That was her investment of who knows how many thousands of dollars. And she was even saying, I used to ask people to like do, $3,500 is your best startup fee or whatever. And Cassie's going to talk more about the investment, but it's just so nice that it's only $15.99 a month for us to have them take care of all of our customers. They organize all of our orders. They do all of the shipping, and you have nothing that you need to keep in your house. There's not going to be this like room, obviously you can have a cute office, and I'm just on my bed because quarantine life means my husband took over. a lot of the space that I would have used normally in our office. But it's just that little bit every month that allows them to take care of everything on the back end and organize your customers. And you can look, and you don't have to create a document. It's like, who ordered in the last 90 days? You can go check your boxes and say, who are all the people in the last year? Who are all my people using Beachbody on Demand? Who are all my people that had Shakeology coming home direct to them every month? Who are all my people that ordered Energize and Recover? And you can click the things and you go, okay, cool. This is who I've got and what's happening. And it's all done for you. And if you're like me and you don't love like technology, as we were saying before the call, like, it hates me right now, it's all done for you. And their customer service is open, or not just customer service, but the coach office end for calling, for chatting. Their hours are pretty insane, like when they're available. Like even on Sundays, if you wanted to work on a Sunday or late at night, like they're available to chat and to help you through any issues you might be having with the challenge or your own. So I love all of that back end stuff. And normally, if you're buying Shakeology on your own, it's like the shipping is $15. So when you sign up as even a discount coach, even just to get the discount, you're already making that back in that fee that you're paying. It basically zeroes it out. And so it's definitely worth it just on that end, which, you know, sometimes for us, it's like fun to have our customers returning and we're excited that they love Shakeology and they're ordering every month. And honestly, sometimes we make more money when they're just ordering Shakeology, but like when we pay it forward, when we're like, you should be getting this discount. You love it. Let us help you save the money. It's like our little secret. I know I have a few people. I'm like, I should probably tell them to become a coach at this point, but do I really want to be a coach at this point? Yes, I want to help people and I want them to save money where they can. But anyways, that all for me, I think. Cassie, Andrea, who's next?
I think I'll go because I think it kind of transitions really well into kind of the investment that you kind of talked about. You know, I think a lot of times when you sign up as a discount coach or you sign up as a coach that's ready to go on their business, any other MLM seems to be like, you know, I know for a fact that my friend sells another MLM product. And anytime I try to sign up as a discount coach or something, every time I sign up, it's like $80, $40 here. You know, recently they discounted it a little bit just so that I could be a VIP customer because I let my discount go a while back. And so it's just like constantly, you know, just all these costs and fees associated with it. And so I'm thankful that like Sarah said, like your coach fee is usually free. You know, when you sign up with a challenge pack or something like that, it's usually free, which is amazing. And then every month that $15.99, like I order Energize, I order Recover, I order Shakeology and all those things. And it just, I mean, just in the shipping alone and in the discount alone, it well pays for itself. But then as you start to pursue the business side, you know, like I remember Kim saying to me one time, because she was trying to get me to sign up for one of the new programs that was coming out. And I was like, oh, I have to wait for my fun money to come. You know, like my husband would give me like a little allowance or whatever. And I was like, I got to wait till my fun money comes. And I was already signed up as a discount coach. And she was like, you know, you just need to get a few people to sign up. That will just like all pay for itself. And I was like, what? You know, and I just kind of laughed it off. But then really that's so true. It doesn't take a ton of time, even just a little bit of investment, like the hour, you know, that Sarah talked about, or as you start to get bigger and you really want to pursue it, it is what you put into it for sure. But that little bit of like $15.99 a month, or, you know, just the little bit that we have to do here and there, it covers so much and it's so little and we save so much. Like the product ends up being so well worth the $15.99. And I think a lot of times when, you know, you're talking to other people, they're like, oh, what's this $15.99 a month? And I'm like, all you have to do is buy Shakeology and it pays for itself. You know, like if you want Shakeology and you want to drink it every month, it's well worth the $15.99 just to do that. Not to mention all the benefits that it pays for you. And like what Sarah was talking about, it's just, it's so little for so much of what you can do with this business. It can be so little or it can be so much. And I think just, this is probably one of the only MLMs that I've done quite a few of them, mostly just to get the discount on the product because I'm not very good at sales. But this is probably one of the only companies that I think the cost to become a coach and to pursue a business and to even just get a discount on something is so minimal when it comes to all of that. So I think it's well worth what you pay. And I think it's been a big savings to me. And it's also been a huge blessing to me because I can, buy Shakeology every month, even when, there's a recession or, our company takes a hit or whatever, I can afford to do that because we do get that 25%. I can afford to sign up for the new programs that come out and get those VIP packages because we do get discounts on that too. So that helps a lot with like motivation to kind of keep up with the fee, and, it makes it worthwhile each month. So I thought it transitioned well with you, Sarah, and what you were just talking about. So
It does. And it's perfect because she left, so I can talk about her now.
yeah. Yeah.
So Kim is my coach. And so Sarah, you jumped on the bandwagon way before I did. I thought you all were crazy at Bible study because I would walk in with my pizza and I was like, screw all you and your containers. Like,
I was with you for that first month. I was like, no.
And then
I was
she
like, this is ladies'
abandoned
night.
me. Yeah. And
I'm
she
bringing a treat.
yeah, and then she came in and she's like with her cups, and I was like, what? You're my only hope in this. Like, so I stayed strong, very strong in Bible study. I was not budging. And Kim, we would come over back then it was Friday night dinners. We'd come over for Friday night dinners, and she would make me do stupid size with her, and I would just video her. I'd be like, no, I'm not doing this. I don't need to. And my kids would join in. She'd make me all the healthy crap, and I'd be like, great, don't need it. And so mine was different. I've always been thin, and so for me, I didn't need it. I just didn't see a reason for it. I have very good genes. I credit to that. I had already had 2 kids, and so for me, it was like I was fine. I loved having all my crap, bringing in my pizza and my McDonald's proudly. Drinking all the Coca-Colas. I did not care. It did not matter. She could not convince me. Like, I was not budging. And my husband is like the biggest health freak. Like, he was on this amazing cleanse and he was losing all this weight. And I'm like, have fun. Like, I'm gonna eat my nachos over here. And was going to the gym. And I think I've only been to the gym when I was trying to get a baby out. That's the only time I had a gym membership, was to freaking get a baby out. And so that was I just didn't like it. It was not my cup of tea. And then Kim moved away. And then, we still would go and visit, and she at that point had given up on me. I think she was just like, girl's not going to join. Like, I'm just not going to push her, but I'll keep living my lifestyle and she'll just have to eat it. Like, and so it was always expected I was going to eat healthy when I showed up at Kim's house. And so, yeah, and so I was in full-time ministry and I was living my job, and it just was, I felt like I was finally in my sweet spot. And then life happened and I went through a really hard time and I spiraled out of control and I got super, super depressed. And my husband had reached out to my boss, our pastor, and then he reached out to Kim, right? Did he call you or did I call you? I can't remember. One of us. And was shipping me off to Kim's house. He needed me to get away, and he figured if Kim can't talk sense into her, then there's no help. There's no hope. And she met me where I was at. She didn't try to force me to do anything, and just said, you need to get your life back on track, and I'm here to support you in any way. And that spoke volumes to me. She never pushed the business on me. She just said, let's get you healthy. And I remember I ended up in counseling and they wanted to put me on antidepressants. And I remembered Kim giving me Shakeology. And I said, hey, my friend's on this thing called Shakeology. If I bring some in, and is it something I could take? I don't want to get on an antidepressant. Like, that's the last thing I want. And I remember talking to Kim and she's like, yeah, here. And I remember you giving me some, and I took it in, and my counselor was like, let's try this, but you have to have it every day for a whole month. And if I don't see a change, then you have to get on antidepressants. And I was like, fine, game on. So I called Kim and was like, okay, what do I got to do? Like, Chris says, sign me up, make it cheap. So let's go. I'm all in. And I remember I got 21-day fix, and then I got my Shakeology, and I signed up right from the get-go as a coach, right? I think so, just because I was cheap and I wanted a discount. And so I just wanted the discount. And my counselor saw the difference in me. I started to see the difference in me mentally. I took it clearly for the mental aspect. I started to feel the fog being lifted. Definitely the mood enhancement helps. I wasn't so sad. Like, I just would come home from work and it was like game face at work, and then come home and my family got like the worst side of me, and that wasn't happening anymore. And then my husband committed to the first 21 days working out with me at home to help me get started. And that helped too. And then I was just like, okay, like, I'll do this. So for 3 years, I just was a discounted coach, and did all the programs. Kim just told me and I just did it. And I was very secretive about it. I didn't share a whole lot about it. My work knew, because I needed them to hold me accountable, and Kim and my husband, but that was it. I didn't share a whole lot. I didn't think it was anybody's business. I just wanted to keep it super private because of the reason why I was doing it. I was very shameful of the reason why I was doing it. So that ties in perfectly to what I've talked about. I get to talk about following. And so after 3 years, the Lord called me out of my ministry job, and I took a leap of faith of leaving with no backup plan, just becoming a stay-at-home mom, which I've never been. I'm the opposite of Sarah and did not want that. And then God was like, nope, this is what you're doing. And I fought him very hard because I wanted to selfishly stay in my job. But he pushed that and closed that door very firmly. And he's opened up new opportunities. Like, he's really asked me to explore the coaching aspect and to share my journey and to share what has happened to me. And that was hard for me, because to tell the world that you started a program and a business because of your mental stability, it is embarrassing in my eyes. But I had to learn that it's not embarrassing, because I've met more women in the last year for me sharing my story who understand exactly how I feel and have joined me, because I finally stopped being fearful of what people would think. And I owned it. And so I told my family what I was doing, and they were proud of me, and they pushed me forward and told me to do it. I entered into this with a big Facebook following, but a very little Instagram following. And I chose to do my business on Instagram because my Facebook was a lot of ministry leaders and parents, and I didn't want them to see my workout clothes, and family and like friends from like birth. So I was a little like nervous about them seeing that. And then Kim kind of just pushed like, what you need to share in both worlds. You got to share it on Facebook. This is why you are the way you are now, is because of it. You've got to share that. And so I started sharing that, and I am where I am now because of that. Like, a lot of my Facebook has helped me get to where I am. I'm very good at personal interaction. So a lot of my clients are people from school, parents from school, teachers from school, old ministry leaders have come to me and have said, oh, watching you on Facebook, I want to join, because they know my story and they see where I've come from, to strangers. So yeah, it's been incredible. And so now I'm at the stage, I'm a year in, it'll be 2 years in November of working the business. I've kind of dried out my warm market, is what we call it. And so I'm now having to build my following. And so I've been really focusing on that. And what's so great is there's so many tools to help you with that. Like, I probably bother Kim more than she likes, where I'm like, okay, remind me how to do this again. She has given me a ton of great resources that now I can go do it on my own. But at the beginning, where I was like, okay, like, I need to gain my following, she really shared how to do that. And if you apply it, it works. And so if you're like, oh, I don't have a following, it doesn't matter. Like, we can all say that the people that joined us were people that really actually knew us. Those are the ones that join you first. It's the ones that you have the most contact with. They are the ones that join you first. And then after a while, those ones that are watching you online are the ones that start coming. So don't shy away from that. Like, that happens so organically, so naturally. My following's growing just from being in my stories and posting. And so if you do those things and you just share your life, like Kim always is like, share your life. And I had a hard time with that. And my husband's a graphic designer, and so he was like, yeah, I agree, show your life. So now I show everything, and I feel like that's helping, because they don't just see me as this workout chick. They see me as a girl that's taking care of herself, a mom. I'm a cooking teacher now, didn't expect to be that, and I still dip into ministry. And so they get to see all aspects of that in my life, and me TikToking, challenging Kim. So so they see that. And so just being not afraid to expand yourself, and not, that also helps your following. I will say TikTok has really helped me lately. I all recommend you all getting on TikTok. I know Sarah's shaking her head because she was telling us for years, Sarah, the quarantine is what helped us. Okay.
I would have never gotten on some new app if I was
never
house bored in my house board.
Yeah. And I would have never gotten on if this chick would have been like, let's do wet challenge. And I'm like, what? Like, why? Why'd you have to do that move? You know I can't dance. Like, really? And she always goes first, and then I go last. And it probably takes her one take. It takes me like 30 to get somewhat close to what she's doing. And I always will text her, can you make it easier next time? But people like it. We get so many comments. I get so many private messages where like, oh my God, you guys are so funny. You got to keep doing it. And my following starts growing. And eventually it starts conversations, which then I can invite. And that's where I'm at. So don't let following ever stop you. Just be willing to try new things. If that's anything I've learned in the last year, is to not be afraid to try new things to make your business work. So it's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
So we all have been asked by Kim in different ways. And if you didn't notice, we all said no to her at first.
I would say everybody says no to me at first.
Yeah.
But then I would also tell you that I've never felt like I've been a seller my entire existence in this business. I don't ever feel like a salesperson. Like, if people ask me, and truthfully, I probably could be much further along in this business. Like, I don't really know what that looks like, but I'm not a salesperson. I don't want people's money. I want people's lives. Like, the money component is extra. It's always been about people's minds, their hearts, their bodies, their souls, their family's future. And I think it's great if that's your drive. I know lots of people whose drive is money, to make money in this business. And that I think that's fantastic. I mean, if that's what you're trying to do and you need to, but I think when it comes from the heart, it's always going to be something that you really enjoy doing. And I feel like I've never worked a day in my life. I've been getting up at the crack of dawn for as long as I can remember, having babies, not having babies. And I think that we find a passion and you find a purpose, and all of a sudden it's, you just want to do it. You can't wait. So, yeah, the no is real, but the no is it's just a no. It doesn't really mean no. It just means not right now.
Yeah, just the beginning.
Just the beginning. It's just more excuses. And because the truth is, it doesn't matter. Just like Andrea said, like, she didn't have weight to lose, but weight is relative when you're healthy when you're not healthy in the inside.
I was fat skinny, as my husband tells me.
It's actually
skinny fat.
As is
I was like, oh, that's a good way to think about it. All that McDonald's I was having. Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, are you going to live to be 100? No. Or could you run after could you go run drills with your 9-year-old son? No.
Nope. And I was getting sick all the time too. I was in and out of the hospital all the time.
So I think that we sit here and we say, like, it doesn't matter. That's why I said in the beginning, it doesn't matter what size you are, because the truth is it's therapy for everybody. Every single person. And I think, for everyone that's on this call right now, we all worked out this morning, because I'm pretty sure I've seen everybody's sweaty selfie already this morning. And I can guarantee we all came out of whatever area of our house that we worked out in and felt like $1 million and felt like, okay, let's go face the day. Let's go face what's to come. And right now the day is pretty unpredictable and it's weird, and the world is weird. And yet we have this little piece of therapy that we get to go do, and it pours life into us. And I think that everybody needs. And that's why it doesn't matter what size shape you are. Yes, it starts as a physical thing, but it becomes so much more than that. So much more. All right, Megan, questions? Just kidding.
Come on. Megan, fire them up.
Or Lynn.
Well, I do. I mean, could you guys share a little about the community? Because I know that from what I've seen already in the short few weeks and just from like your Instagram and stuff is that there definitely seems to be a tight community in this.
Kim, do you mind if I take that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So that was one of the big things that drew me just because of the season that I was in. I think Kim telling me to show up in the app was huge because getting partnered with someone, she made sure I got partnered with someone I knew, and that helped and was able to share. And then to see each other cheering each other on, it drove me to continue to show up to work out. And then now from the coaching aspect, being able to work out together in the morning is really fun because it's like, okay, I'm not alone. Like they're here with me type of thing, and then as you go along, you'll start to see that you will vibe with certain people where you're like, okay, these are my peeps, and you'll start to form a little community of your own with them. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole point of this, is that someone eventually will stick out to you, or 5 or 10 that you will begin to jive with. And you'll tell Kim like, hey, can I be with this person? Or say you want to at one point work the business. I will tell you that will also come into play tremendously. Like when we were there's different tiers, like there's emerald and then there's diamond. I'm a diamond now. And I remember when I approached Kim about that, like, hey, I want to be a diamond. She linked me up with a girl named Courtney, who I don't know. She's from the Midwest. We are so polar opposite. And she was my partner. I wanted Sarah to be my partner, but Kim gave me Courtney because of where we were at. And Courtney was perfect for me because my competitive side came out where I was like, I gotta beat Courtney. I gotta get this with her. And then when I met her at the Diamond Retreat, I was like, oh my gosh, you're like the best human. We're total polar opposites. Like she's super shy and I'm super outgoing. So I was like in her face all weekend, and she was probably like, get away, girl. But to me, it was like, this is so crazy. Like you are from the Midwest, girl, and like I'm in California. And we have bonded over something because Kim saw that in us and brought us together. And so we still talk till this day, where I'll share like my goals and she'll share hers, and she's doing tremendously great now. And it's kicked off. But that's the other component that's great, is when you want to start working the business, that's where Kim will come into play and be like, okay, let me match you with someone to run with, because that is that extra drive. Like Kim is one of my other side partners, even though she is far, to me, she's like over there and I'm over here. And she shakes her head, but it is true.
Yeah.
I still bother her and will tell her my plans. Like I was over Saturday and I was like, okay, girl, this is what's going on. And if this doesn't work, peace. Like she's like, okay. But that's the great part of the community. So you'll see that as people, Megan, will stick out. Someone will stick out, 5 people will stick out, and you just tell Kim. I was always very honest with Kim. And so I highly recommend that, to just be really honest with who drives with you. I mean, Cassie and I have a common person. Would have never known that until she told me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And now Cassie and I talk all the time. So it's just crazy.
I think too, like it's being part of the coaching community, that will really connect you, because like as we do coach like team calls like once a week, and as we're constantly in conversation with each other, like sharing stories, and we're seeing each other on the virtual gyms, and we're like, running challenge groups or something together, I feel like I probably talk to this group of women that I've really only met one of, in person, in real life. I talk to them more than I talk to my like regular best friends that I feel have been friends with for 20 plus years or 30 plus years or whatever. And I feel more connected sometimes to even this group than I do even my closest friends sometimes, just because I know what's happening on your daily life. Like when you're checking on your posts, and when we're in our team calls and we're being real and we're praying for each other, or we're doing all these things, it's just like real life, and it starts to intertwine you. And I've always felt that way about any kind of leadership position that you step into. As you start to get into a leadership team, that's what really binds you with those people and gets you to step outside of your comfort zone, and gets you to, kind of bond with people that you wouldn't normally even meet in real life, or bond with normally because you wouldn't know that they were your type of person, or, whatever. And I feel like that has really, stepping into the coaching world has even made that even more so apparent to me, how great these bonds are and how crucial they are to your success and your fitness and your health and your life and your coaching business and whatever. It's so crucial to like lean in,
It's totally true.
Yeah, I'll say something because it's funny, Andrea, you're like, I'm not like Sarah, I'm total opposite, but it's so funny because it's not. My personality is not stay-at-home homeschooling mom at all.
That's all I know you as.
And it's so frustrating for me because people are like, oh, you're just such a mom. And I'm like, literally, my husband broke up with me before we got married because I said I never wanted kids. So, and I love my kids are so cute. Obviously, I love them.
Because you were pregnant with Verity when I met you. So
What?
you were pregnant with Verity when I met you. I've always known you as mom.
My oldest just turned 7, and I have always been a stay-at-home mom. Now, I'm saying that in light of the community aspect, because when you are a full-time stay-at-home mom, you don't have a lot of breaks, and you don't have a lot of help, and your kids don't go to preschool when you're a homeschooling mom, and they don't go to X, Y, and Z. My daughter does do ballet, and she takes acting class, which now is all on Zoom, so here y'all are all the time. But for me, I do have a college degree. I have a major and I minored, and I was in a corporate job, and then I was a teacher, and then I quit, and this kind of fell into my lap, and as a stay-at-home mom, I was already a stay-at-home mom for about a year before I started coaching. And so for me, I am very much adult-like. I've done youth ministry. I taught high school, a lot of mentoring women. And so I'm like, give me all the teenage girls and I will chat with them. I will talk to them and I will tell them all about terrible boys and relationships and sex stuff, but I don't care about your baby. I'm sorry. So when you're a stay-at-home mom and you have all the babies, my husband, we always like at life groups, he's like, can I hold your baby? I'm like, he loves the babies. I'll take your teenagers. And because I like to talk and I like people. So I'm definitely an introvert, but I have that extrovert side. So for me, the community aspect is really vital as a stay-at-home homeschooling mom, because I don't do classical conversations and co-ops, and I'm not a crunchy mom, which everyone stereotypes you as if you're a stay-at-home homeschooling mom. No, I'm not crunchy at all. And so I appreciate being able to come into, like our Facebook groups or like our accountability groups, our team calls, and be able to chat and be together and grow together and have like excitement and passion and the ability to still help women. Even though I'm really consumed with what I have at home, I'm still able to be like, girlfriend, you can do this too. I do this. I make the time. And like I was saying, explaining to my kids, like, I'm doing something on my phone. I do work. I do have a job, even though I'm with them 100% of the time prior to March 25th. So I think it's been really good for me, for my mental health, for those days when you're like, I haven't talked to any adults today. Well, in a normal world, we don't. As a stay-at-home mom, a lot of times I don't have the classrooms where I volunteer, or, the pickup line where I'm chatting with someone real quick. I don't have any of that. It's like grocery store people. I'm like, hi, talk to me. But I have that with this community, being able to be like on Boxer and like, hey, tell me a quick answer, but also like, hey, that workout was so crazy. Now doing our virtual gym is so fun, being able to do it together. So I think that there is a lot to it when you are passionate about something. I want to do my home workouts, and I don't want to feel bad that I'm dedicated, and I don't want to feel guilty that I am consistent. And sometimes you get that from other people, but when you're with this group of girls and they're like, yeah, you did it. Like, oh, you haven't done it yet. Come on, go do it. It's so awesome for us to be able to feel encouraged and motivated and accepted for choosing to make ourselves healthier, and not like, oh, just skip it. Just come to a play date. Instead, you've got girls going like, have you done it yet? Come on, show up. And I think that's a really huge part of what we're building and what we continue to create.
The other Megan, did you have any questions?
I do actually. My biggest question is how, I know everyone kind of is different with different amount of kids, homeschool mom. So I got 4 little ones, kind of like Kim. How do you guys plan ahead with your content for like Instagram for your posts, or how do you manage that? Cause I got 4 little ones. So I'm just trying to figure out, do I just plan ahead? Do you already have like pre-planned topics? Just kind of wondering.
I know for me, I spend about an hour in the morning before anybody wakes up. I write all my posts for the day, just so I'm not, because usually it's dinner time is usually the problem of when I'm trying to post. It's never in the morning. It's always like nighttime when your husband's staring at you and he's like, "Are you really on your phone right now?" And there's like four kids basically like, "Mine, mine, mine, mine. Where's my food?" And I like to write out all my content for the day in the morning. I have a hard time pre-planning content because I find that most of my things are emotionally charged. It's based on what's happening in the day. You could plan like recipes, or you could plan quotes or whatever, but I find that most everything I'm posting is kind of in the feelings of how I'm kind of feeling. We do have 30 days worth of content that we give to every coach. It's actually, we didn't create it. It's from what would you call her? Like
A
she's a
company.
content writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like a social media person. So we have like 30 days worth of content that people can use if they want to. It's kind of just story. It kind of gets you started, helps you feel like, oh yeah, I can do this. I can write that, or I don't have anything to say today, or I'm still, new and I don't feel like, uh-oh. Oh, there's another one. He's fine. Sorry, I had to, we're not used to the nanny yet. First day. It's like, oh wow, it's like World War I out there. What's happening? Anyway, so I think that you do it how you do it, but for me personally, that's how it works best.
Or use those guides, Megan, too. Like there's a lot of like 30 days of put like just a calendar that says like, here's an idea for a post. And you can like go in, I don't know if you know this, but if you start to make a post in Instagram, you can exit out of it and it'll save it down there. And then when you go in to make another post, it'll bring up your drafts below and you can literally just click and go. So like in the morning, maybe you don't want to plan out a week's worth of posts like some people can. Or, you might be like him who's just like, I feel this, I'm posting about it. But what you could do is plan out some like each day at least have one post planned, on a calendar, and just know that I'm going to post about a recipe today, or I'm going to post about my workouts on that day, or I'm going to post about my transformation on that day. And you can write them out when you have like an hour or two, maybe in the morning or at night or on the weekends or something, and save them as drafts in your Instagram. And then you just click in, you just hit that draft. It's already like pre-made, and then you literally just post it, and it takes you like 20 seconds versus like having to think about how you feel in that moment. I'm still not great at that yet, but that's something that I'm working really hard on because I want to save more time during the day, especially during the week. So.
And Megan, for me, I do it more off of like what I want to stand for. So like you'll see mainly pictures about my husband. I'll do one about me and my husband, my kids. I'll do one workout. I'm going to do one workout picture. I haven't yet because I'm trying to figure out where to take it. And that's for we found a spot now. So my husband's like, this is where you're going to take it. And then I'll do one about my kids. I used to do one about cooking class because it's what I do. And so on the side too. And so I loved sharing that and what we would make in the classroom because it's basically I'm teaching kids how to cook and go take it home. And so now I'm actually starting that up again. And so I'm going to do it virtually. So that would be interesting. And so I'll be sharing that. Hi, Brooke. Oh, he just made my day. My baby. It's not Kim's. She just birthed him for me and takes care of him.
It takes care of him.
Now I just come over and love on him. Hi, Brooks. We play trucks.
Like
Yeah. But yeah, so I would suggest, Megan, just looking at like, what do you want to share about? Like, share about your 4 kids. Kim does that. That is one of her posts all the time is about her 4 kids. So you should showcase that. Showcase one about you and your husband. I loved how you shared about when your son went and had heart surgery. There's tons of moms out there that are going through that. And share that as you go, with what's going on at home. You're fine. It's not, at each week it's going to be a different hurdle for you. So share that because there's going to be a mom that's going to be able to relate and that will start the conversation. So I would continue sharing it in your stories, but I would do a post about it too.
Perfect. Okay.
Megan, did you have any other questions? Megan Woods. I'm gonna do Megan W, Megan C.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, you guys have done a great job explaining your why and the how of it.
What program are you doing?
I'm doing Morning Meltdown right now.
Favorite. The best.
Yeah.
She's amazing. She's so nice in person.
Is
So
she?
nice. Oh my gosh. Like when Kim
Very
came
fun.
up, Kim got to do a sneak like picture with her, and Kim came back. She's like, she remembered me. She remembered my name. And I'm like, well, how? You and your big hair. Like, come on. Like, how could she not miss you? But she's so polite because like people would run up to her, and she has security with her because M100 was coming out. And she'd be like, it's okay. Like, and she would like, but like when Rachel Hollis came out, she was really like, she was like, can I please watch? And people were like, yeah, yeah. She's so nice. So down to earth.
I say I'm loving the program so far.
And share it. Share each phase that you like at 20 days. Show at 20 days. Show at 40 days. Show at 80 days, and then at 100, because that's people are going to be watching that, and to see your transformation in that would be my suggestion for you.
I definitely think it's just going to take, and I'm getting there more and more day by day, but it's that courage of getting out of your comfort zone.
Yes. It's the hardest part.
That's great. That's great that you said that, because that is one thing I will say that it doesn't matter what you look like or where you're at in your journey. Becoming a coach and joining this community changes your confidence level. It really does, because you see that Cassie, Andrea, Kim, and Letty, and we're all different, and we all look different, and we're all doing different programs most of the time. We all eat different things. Like, I'm pretty vegetarian, kind of vegan. I know I love the carbs. They do well with my body. My French fry shirt will tell you. And then there's the women that are like, I do not have the carbs after this time. And then the people that are like, I'm gluten free. But the point is that we're all sharing it. And that's what I was saying earlier. You can join a community where you don't feel bad talking about it. Guess what? We all eat. We all eat. And we eat every day. And so it's like such a crazy thing when they're like, I don't want to talk about like my food or how I'm looking at. I was telling someone the other day, because like if I go to the doctor, never is he ever going to say, you know, I really think that you should probably up your skincare line, and maybe you should go with a more expensive shampoo. No, he's going to be like, are you working out? And you need to do this for your diet, and you need to do this for your fitness. Like, my doctor is never going to come and tell me these other things. No offense to the other MLMs. I really want to get this great new dry shampoo, but my doctor is not going to recommend that. And I don't want to feel bad for showing up and being like, I made this healthy food for my kids. Like, I don't want to feel bad that I also eat French fries and Ben & Jerry's. Okay. So, but it's like, my confidence level is there to say like, I'm taking care of myself and I can eat McDonald's. Okay. It's the closest fast food to me. And I live on the edge of the country where that's what works for us. Okay. The level of feeling like I'm not shy to post about it anymore, because I know all of these girls, and I know a lot of people who follow me and know me, and people who don't know me and have started to follow me. That's what they're showing up to see on my page. They want to see what I'm making my kids for dinner. They want to see that I worked out again today. They want to see like the different parts of my life that I'm sharing. And that builds your confidence, because you're like, I'm a human and people care about me. I might not be a celebrity. I might not be this great influencer. But the reason these people keep showing up is because I have a story and I have something to share, and it's important and it's beautiful and it's messy and it's what makes me me. And that gives me confidence to walk through my day to say like, I'm showing up for my family, I'm showing up for my crew, and I'm showing up for these other women that I know can find that inner confidence despite the weight, despite where they're at. Because when you show up and you push play and you sweat and you get the endorphins and you feel strength, it doesn't matter where your muscles are under. You're going to grow them and they're going to feel amazing, and you're going to be like, come here, kids, or like, hey, husband, like, hey, like FaceTiming friends. You're going to have that energy internally, mentally, and yes, physically. But I think that the confidence of like, hi, I'm posting something, it comes, but it's only going to build. You're never going to lose the confidence, even with like, you know, haters or moms who say awkward things to you, or like your mom, not other moms, your mom. But anyways, I think that that's a big part of this, that it's hard to communicate through a post the confidence that grows. People will start to recognize it. People will see it and they'll be like, oh my God, she's like changing her thing up. Like, look at her. She's like posting her selfie. Like, look at that. Like, she's never posted a selfie. She's always posted for her kids. But you're like, no, this is about me. I'm taking care of me and I'm making myself better. And therefore I have that ability to be myself and be worthy of posting about me and not my cute kids all the time, you know? So anyway.
I do have one more question that I just thought of. So I know you guys were talking about platforms, and it seems like you kind of, from what I understood, like a mixture of Facebook and Instagram. But for each of you, which one was your better platform to be kind of present you and your journey? Was it Facebook or Instagram? Do you think you had more success on?
I think mine goes back and forth.
Yeah, mine goes back and forth too. It's like, I think I started on Facebook because, I don't know, it just was easier for me to go through my list of friends and figure out like alphabetically, like who I could invite and keep track of who I was inviting and who I had already invited. You know, it was just easier in my brain because I was more familiar with Facebook. And then I think I slowly transitioned over to Instagram. As you develop hashtags and you learn how to work that particular search rhythm of each forum, I think you'll find that Instagram is a lot easier to do the Instagram or the hashtag format. And that for me has worked pretty well in finding new places to invite women and getting to know women that I didn't know before. But so Facebook is more my warm market, I think, and Instagram has kind of transitioned over to, you know, more of my both, you know, so it's just kind of grown a little bit more on Instagram, but I think it does change. Like Kim said, I think it goes back and forth.
Agreed. Okay, awesome. Well, we kind of went over on time here. We don't usually run these for this long, but clearly the four of us really enjoy talking together.
Hang in there, ladies.
Thank you for just hanging with us. I mean, again, adult interaction is always necessary. And it did fill a cup. So, you know, I mean, therapy, we got some minutes too. But yes, I need to go and care for small children.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you for hopping on.
Thank you.
Thank you all. We'll see you in the virtuals.
Yes. Bye.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.